Alright ladies, this is going to be a very small screencast starting with the election of 1856. I don't need you to need all these three men's names. If you just kind of look, you can kind of see though, we have a Republican running, a former Whig but American Party member running, and then we have a Democrat running, and it's going to be the Democrat that wins, and that's James Buchanan. So James Buchanan is going to be the winner of the election of 1856, and he is a Democrat. I just want us to know who is the last president before Lincoln. That's who we'll get to tomorrow. Alright, two very simple things I want to talk about in this screencast. Number one, a very important landmark Supreme Court case, that's the Dred Scott decision. So if you see on the screen, Dred Scott is a slave pictured on the left, and he was a slave living in the state of Missouri, which was a slave state. But his owner took him out of Missouri to a couple of northern states, free states, I think Illinois, Indiana, I think. You don't have to know the names of the states. So the owner took him to some free states for a few months and returned him back to Missouri. Now, Dred Scott challenges his freedom using that action because someone represents him. It becomes a court case where he says, because I was in a state, presently, physically, in a state where slavery was illegal, I should be free right now. I should have been freed in that action, and I should be a free man today. And this decision, in this case, will go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, who actually sides against Scott. Okay? They actually decide that he was not free, that you could not just earn your freedom by physically making it to a free state. Furthermore, they said that Scott, being a slave, actually had no right to sue the government, and because he wasn't a citizen, nor could he ever be a citizen. So this is a very big hit on the abolitionist cause when you're basically saying that slaves are not citizens and don't have the rights to use the court system to challenge laws. But another thing that was announced in this Supreme Court decision was that the Fifth Amendment protects a citizen's property, and that slaves fell within that protection. So this basically is saying that a slave could not be removed out of a slave owner's home just because they traveled to a free state, because their property should be protected, and slaves are property at this time. So that's a very big blow to the abolitionist movement. It's kind of a regression of sorts, because the decision, of course, is a huge victory for the southern states who want to continue the institution of slavery in their regions. The last thing we'll discuss are the Lincoln-Douglas debates. There was an election in Illinois for a Senate seat. Okay? So this is not a presidential election, but a Senate election, senatorial election for a Senate seat. And the incumbent, pictured on the right, Stephen Douglas, was running against a new Republican politician named Abraham Lincoln. And usually incumbents have the advantage in elections, y'all. So Stephen Douglas looks like he's going to win this thing easily. But Abraham Lincoln challenged Stephen Douglas to a series of debates over the issue of slavery. Now, both men kind of were on the abolitionist train, but they both disagreed how to kind of limit slavery. Okay? And Abraham Lincoln is going to be quoted in these debates as saying something about passing a constitutional amendment which would eliminate slavery and abolish it and make it illegal for all states. And even though that would not happen right away, and he was just mentioning it in a debate, the South hears that he suggested this idea, and they will from here on out look at Abraham Lincoln as the devil himself, because they think he has now the goal to abolish slavery in all of the country. And this just kind of foreshadows how much the South dislikes Abraham Lincoln. which is going to eventually lead to secession. Alright, please write down any questions you have, and I will see y'all tomorrow.